My name's Cody Noel. I'm the manager of construction services for PCL in our Winnipeg district. Wind speed's probably about 10 to 15K.
Yeah,
I've been with PCL for about 15 years now, and I've been in this role for about 4 years. Construction services is an operational support department, and what our department does is support our project teams, like the team here at St. Boniface, in quality, scheduling, virtual construction, construction engineering, and basically all things construction technology. So one of those construction technologies that we use are UAVs or drones. We've been using UAVs or drones in Winnipeg for about 6 or 7 years. So we've got a good amount of experience with it, and it's a tool that we very much rely on, especially on large projects like this. So our Winnipeg district is very fortunate that we have 2 large healthcare projects that we're doing for the province, one in Portage la Prairie and one here downtown at St. Boniface Hospital, expanding our healthcare facilities across the province. And a key tool that we're using to help our teams manage and coordinate their projects is the use of UAVs. So we fly our drones weekly on both project sites, and the teams rely on that information for logistics planning, for quantity estimating, for production tracking, to make sure that we're staying on track and on schedule. And then they're forecasting work as the weeks come up and using that as a planning tool to forecast the weeks ahead. Being a drone pilot can be a lot of fun. It can be very nerve-wracking depending on the situation. Obviously, you're flying a very expensive piece of equipment. You have the public, you have the workers that you have to be concerned about, you have the airport regulations, so there's a lot of stuff to think about. You have to make sure that you're staying on your toes. That's why we have such regulated and documented procedures to make sure that we're following the processes every single time. And we have trained professionals that are utilizing the drones that go from site to site to make sure that our champions know what they're doing, that we're acting in a safe manner. But honestly, it's a lot of fun. We get to see a lot of different sites, and even bringing the technology to the teams and how they can utilize it, different ways that we can utilize the drones and how we can use that for planning our work, helping clients, showcasing what we do. I think that's really exciting. I would say primarily we use our drones for planning and production tracking. So with our drones, we're able to generate an orthomosaic. So it's basically that up-to-date Google Earth view of what our project progress is at that point in time. So we can fly the drone in a matter of minutes. We can get this flight completed. We can process that in the software on our PCs, and then our teams have access to all the information, whether that's the orthomosaic, a point cloud, and we have access to an abundance of data that can help us plan our project. We can use it for inspections, we can use it for hard to reach areas that are maybe difficult to access, and it's really leveraging a tool that's relatively inexpensive and relatively safe in areas where it might be a little bit more dangerous to access by traditional means. So a great example of how drones are making our life easier is at our Portage District General Hospital. So if you can imagine the size of that building, it's over 600 feet long. It's a massive, massive site. Logistics on that project are very important. So it's important that we have maintaining access around the building, and then logistics of moving materials, where trades are going to be placed, making sure that we're not stacking up trades on top of one another, and that we have an efficient workflow of work around the building. So by providing that view, that top-down view for our project teams with our drone, they can actually map out the areas of where each team is going to be working, and then we can sequence our work in a way that's going to be most effective.
My message is the value is there. We do drone flights every week here, and our project teams are using these drone flights at least once a week for various reasons, whether it's finding out where that fire hydrant was that was taken out and they need to go lay it back out, right? That historical data is there. If it's earthwork production tracking, that data is there. If it's overlaying a PDF onto the ortho map that's generated just to get a general idea of where things are going to lie on site, the data is readily available. So yeah, in my mind, it doesn't take a lot of time, and the amount of value that it produces is awesome.
Upload.
So this is the deliverable that that automated flight produces. So this is the orthomosaic map that all the photos have been stitched together to produce this orthomosaic map. So all these circles represent a photo.
Drones are very high tech, and the technology just continues to advance. So the drone uses a process called Photogrammetry. So that's the software that backs up the hardware of what the drone is. So as the drone takes an overlapping image as it flies a pre-programmed flight, we can take those images and put them into a processing software, and it can use algorithms to determine positions of different elements within those images and actually generate a 3D model, if you want to call that. It's called a point cloud of existing topography, and we can get very accurate information depending on the type of drone that we use, how high we fly. There's a lot of constraints around how accurate the information is, but we get a ton of rich data from just a few minutes of flight time.
Out of those 2D images, it actually produces a point cloud. So like I was saying before, about every centimeter squared, there is a point, and all that tight cluster of points generates a point cloud, which we're looking at right now. So this is a good visual. It shows a good visual to explain what a point cloud is, but this actual data that we're looking at right now can be used for, like I mentioned earlier, earthwork takeoffs, earthwork production tracking, stockpile calculations, or obtaining volumes of stockpiles. So this is the output. Outside of just taking progress photos and videos and panos, this drone data can be very useful for, like, this stockpile of sand here. After the photos are post-processed out of that autonomous flight, we can go and take a volume of that stockpile of sand. I'd simply just click around the perimeter of that stockpile, and then this is its naming convention, so it's today's date and then volume 1. I can view and edit the volume in 3D, and then once that generates, it'll give us a nice visual of what that stockpile looks like. And this is the 2D version of where the stockpile is located. This is the 3D version of the stockpile, and then down on the bottom left-hand side here, it gives our net volume of 62.32 meters cubed. In addition to that, design surfaces can be compared to our topographic surveys, and we can get cut fill information. So again, the drone is much more powerful than just photos and videos. It can get us survey data and volume data and earthwork comparison data. The list goes on.
Within our industry, drones are definitely underutilized. We've seen tremendous value over the past 4 years of us utilizing this technology and how much our teams have engaged and embraced it. And I think there's a missed opportunity from a lot of contractors that could be getting a lot more value from it. And the barrier to entry isn't really as high as what a lot of people might assume it is. So I think if you're looking to take the leap, just jump. Reach out to people in the industry that might have some of that experience, and I'm certainly willing to do that and help people walk through that process. It's definitely been an innovative tool for us that we've utilized. In terms of PCL being a leader in this space, certainly within our market, there's definitely contractors out there that are right up there with us and utilizing this technology, and there's other industries that are well ahead of us in terms of what their capacity is. We could definitely be doing a lot more, but it's definitely been a tool that we've relied on a lot more as the years go on.